Wednesday, March 27th. So a question for you. Can we estimate how big our plants will be when we get back from spring break? This question actually came up during 7th period. A great question. An opportunity to talk about graphs and how they are beneficial to us. So we'll pull up an example graph from number 36 and take a look at how many days will it be when we get back from spring break. And since these plants that we have are offspring genetically of the parents, we could probably predict that the growth rates are going to be fairly similar. Since we graphed the growth rates of the parents, we can go out, say, 2 weeks to day 14 or 15, which is about how long it'll be since when we get back from spring break, and look at their heights of the different plants and kind of get an estimate of what we would expect. And that is one of the great benefits of using graphs, is their predictability. Moving on to outcomes, it is about Amplify. So we want to know where to access Amplify. We want to understand how to complete or participate in Amplify lesson. This is our third platform or company, and each one's slightly different. And we want you to do the do steps of logging on to Amplify via Clever and to complete a pre-unit assessment. So you know you've met the objectives if you've got to Amplify via Clever and logged in. You've completed the Amplify pre-assessment online. And you've got to Amplify via Clever and logged in, and you've completed the Amplify pre-unit assessment online. So there's a lot of carryover in what you accomplish. Lesson plan. We're going to start with Amplify Metabolism Unit. We're going to log in, check the system. I'm going to push things out to your computers to see if that works and what happens when we use the Eyes Up feature and things like that. And then release you to do the pre-unit assessment. You'll probably finish early, but everyone works at their own pace, and depending on what kind of day you're having. But I would anticipate you'll have some time afterwards, and then you can continue 36, which are the fast plant data, graphing, or number 35 if you haven't finished the CRISPR explanation yet. I've got a note there to see the next screen because I want to show you something when it comes to the graphs. And then ask if you missed the protein synthesis quiz from Monday. They are in the grade book. There is a Take Two Friday. A number of you were absent, and we want to give you an opportunity to do that. And some of you didn't heed my warnings and scored really low, and we'll give you an alternate assessment to catch up. So here's that screen I was referring to. You must make 4 graphs of your own, and they are plant height versus time, leaf number versus time, flower number versus time, and seed pod number versus time. Now, since your group and you all grew the same plants, your graphs should look the same, assuming everybody follows basic graph structure. Use the example graph on classroom number 36 that I've put up in the class as we've talked about it to guide you. Don't copy it. In other words, the data on there is made up, it's imaginary, it's fake, it doesn't match up to anything. But you need to have a full set of data, whether it's your own group or it's Fast Plant or Backup Jones Smith. And you need to graph those things. So each individual person will have 4 completed graphs with the 4 titles you see on the screen. Everyone in the group, they should look the same, but not be the same. In other words, you have your own version. Hopefully that clears up any questions, and then we're going to get on with the lesson. Logging on to Amplify via Clever and going from there.